In the golden plains of Burkina Faso, where the land stretches endlessly under the blazing African sun, lived a humble farmer named Yacouba. His world was small: a thatched hut, a patch of dry land, a wooden plough, and a heart filled with unshakable faith. Every morning, before the first rays of sunlight kissed the soil, he would walk barefoot to his fields, humming old village songs his father once sang. Yacouba's life was not easy. The rains had become scarce in recent years, and each harvest seemed to yield less than the last. Still, he never complained. He believed that God and hard work were enough to sustain a man. His wife, Amina, and two little children shared the same hope. Even when they ate nothing but boiled millet for days, Amina would whisper, "Tomorrow will be better, my love." But tomorrow had not been better for a long time. The sun burned hotter, the soil cracked deeper, and the sky offered no mercy. Yacouba's old plough broke and his ox fell sick. Soon, there was nothing left to sell, nothing left to trade. The family began to live on the brink of hunger. Still, Yacouba refused to give up. "If the land fails, the heart must not," he often said to his children. One evening, as the crimson sun dipped below the horizon, news spread through the village. President Ibrahim Traoré was visiting the region the next morning. He was touring rural communities to see how the farmers were coping with drought. The villagers gathered in excitement. Some swept their courtyards, others painted old fences. But Yacouba's hut stood silent. Amina asked softly, "Should we prepare something too?" Yacouba sighed. "What do we have to show? Our hut leaks. Our pots are empty. A president shouldn't see our misery." Amina smiled gently. Maybe he should. That night, the stars glimmered faintly through the holes in their roof. Yacouba couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about how much he had failed his family. But destiny had its own plan, a plan that would turn his humble hut into a place of history. The next morning, Ibrahim Traoré's convoy entered the dusty village. The sound of engines echoed across the fields. Children ran barefoot behind the vehicles, shouting, "Le Président! Le Président!" The president stepped out of his car, dressed not in a suit, but in a simple military uniform. His eyes were sharp, but kind. His presence strong, yet humble. He shook hands with the elders, spoke to women at the well, and listened patiently to every villager who came forward. As he walked down the narrow path, his gaze caught something. A small mud hut, old and cracked, standing at the edge of the village. Outside it, a farmer was fixing his broken plough with a rusted nail. Traoré turned to his aide. "Who lives there?" His aide said, "That is Yacouba, sir, a poor farmer. He never complains, even though he has lost almost everything." The president nodded. "Then I want to meet him." When the guards approached Yacouba's hut, the farmer stood up nervously. He wiped his hands on his torn shirt and bowed. "Good morning, Your Excellency," he said, his voice trembling. Traoré smiled. "Good morning, my brother. May I sit?" Yacouba blinked in disbelief. The president of the nation sitting on a wooden stool outside his hut? He hurriedly dusted it off. "It's old, sir. It might break." Traoré laughed softly. "If it can carry your strength, it can carry mine." They sat under the shade of a neem tree. The air was heavy with silence. The president looked around. The broken plough, the empty grain sack, the hungry eyes of two children peeking from behind the door. He said, "Tell me, Yacouba, how do you survive?" Yacouba took a deep breath. "By faith, sir. The land is weak, but my hope is not. I teach my children to never hate the soil, no matter how dry it becomes." The president nodded slowly. "You are richer than many men who own gold." Amina came out shyly, carrying a clay pot of water. "Please, sir, drink. It's all we have." Traoré accepted it with both hands. "Thank you, madam. This is more precious than wine." He drank slowly, feeling the weight of their struggle in every sip. Then he turned to Yacouba and said, "You remind me of my father. He too was a farmer, strong, silent, and honest. Men like you are the true pillars of our nation." Yacouba's eyes glistened. "I only do what I can, sir." Moved by what he saw, Ibrahim Traoré stood up and looked around. This village deserves better: water, tools, and schools for the children. He called his team immediately. From today, Yacouba's village will receive a new borewell, farming equipment and seeds for the next harvest. And Yacouba, as he placed a hand on the farmer's shoulder, you will be the one to lead this change. The crowd that had gathered erupted in cheers. Tears rolled down Amina's face. For the first time in years, Yacouba smiled, not out of relief, but out of pride. Traoré then turned to the children. What do you want to become when you grow up? The elder one, a boy of 8, whispered, I want to be like you, sir, strong and kind. The president knelt and touched his shoulder. Then start by being honest and brave like your father. Later that afternoon, as the convoy prepared to leave, Traoré looked back at the humble hut one last time. He told his aide, never forget, leadership begins where humanity lives. That evening, when the sun set behind the hills, Yacouba and his family sat together outside their hut. The air felt different, lighter, hopeful. The villagers came to congratulate them, saying, your honesty brought light to our homes. Amina whispered, see, I told you, maybe he should see our misery. Yacouba laughed softly, holding her hand. He didn't see misery, he saw strength. And that night, under a sky full of stars, Yacouba prayed, not for rain, not for wealth, but for a heart like the man who had walked into his hut and changed his world. Weeks later, the borewell was built. Clean water gushed where once there was only dust. New tools arrived, and the villagers worked together with fresh hope. Yacouba's land bloomed again, green and alive. Whenever anyone asked him what happened that day, he would smile and say, the president didn't visit my hut. God did, in his heart. What a powerful moment of humility and leadership. Comment below, what would you do if your nation's leader visited your home like this? Don't forget to like if you believe true leaders serve their people with love. Subscribe for more real-life stories of compassion and humanity.